Read all the stories about BYU sports no one else has heard. Go to KSLSports.com for exclusive columns by BYU insider Mitch Harper. That's KSLSports.com.
It's BYU and Utah week. As the kids say less. It's an awesome game. It'll be kicking off at 6 p.m. right here on KSL News Radio, the BYU call, of course. And extended pregame will begin at noon here on your legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio.
I've raised a good one, Mitch, my oldest son, who, right now, he's at the point of his life where he kind of pretends like he doesn't hear me or listen to me at all. But he's also been around my entire radio career. I've been doing this since before he was born. And he's a sports kid. Like, he's into it. He follows all the stuff. But he has the thing that you and I were born with, which is the inability to miss stuff. I mean, he just doesn't miss things, right? And so Rivalry Week brings out something interesting. And for me, he texted me yesterday and he goes, I have to listen to people talk about Utah and BYU at school this week, and it's really hard. And I said, yeah, I get it. I said, hey, people are idiots when rivalries come out, man. That's my theme. People the IQ drops when Rivalry Week comes around. People get absolutely blinded by making decent decisions, whether it's about predictions about how these games are going to go, whether it's about, how you're going to treat another fan base or whatever it is, what you're going to say on social media. And I was really proud of him because he was like, I can't believe some of the stuff these guys are saying. And it was both sides, right? Where it's like, okay, that's an overstatement about how good or bad Utah's defense is. That's an overstatement of how injured this BYU player is, or how great Bear Bachmeier is. The reality is that this far into the season, Mitch, it's almost like 8 weeks in, because we're going into week 8, right? And then 2 weeks after that, we're going to get our first college football playoff rankings. And I feel like those won't even actually tell. They go, look, you got to go. Bronco used to be big on that. I don't consider rankings real until about week 8 or 9. And the reality is this week, I don't know if I feel even that way. I don't know if we know anything about these two teams like we normally do going into a rivalry game like this. And yet at the same time, true to rivalry form, I don't think it matters.
It doesn't. This game is always so good, and it lives up to the hype every single year. It's always a one-possession game. Maybe I'm giving too much credit to Irving, Texas, but was it a stroke of genius putting this on October 18th? Because it feels like now the stakes are greater than ever. Because when we looked at the schedule in February when it got released, I thought, October 18th, like, what are you doing here? You're bouncing it from November 9th to October 18th. What's the rhyme and reason? There's none. But this kind of worked out to where you got an undefeated team, a one-loss team. First time that's happened since 2008, but you pair it up with Power Conference affiliation, network TV, a pregame show. It feels huge, and it's a big stage. I was looking back at the history, and I can't point to another game where both teams have equal high-level stakes on the line. Yeah. I think this is the biggest in rivalry history. I'm not trying to get into hyperbole and say biggest game ever. I really think this is the greatest stakes ever.
But why wouldn't it be? These guys are brand new to be in a power conference together ever, right? They are. This is. What is it for BYU? Year 3, year 2 for Utah. This is brand new. Year 1 for BYU in the Big 12 was not good, and Utah wasn't there. Year 2, BYU was good, and Utah was not. And now, guess what? This is the best that they've ever been in this conference, which is the best that they've ever been from a talent perspective. So why can't we, from the papers side of it, say this is on paper the biggest and best version of this game we've ever seen? The two teams have been ranked different. They've probably been ranked higher going into other games before. What was BYU last year? Going to 7, something like that. And Utah was in the middle of they were at that point 4 games in to a 7-game losing streak. It was not the year that you wanted for that rivalry game, and yet it was a 1-point game and even had controversy wrapped into that as well. So I told you last week when we were talking about that Texas-Oklahoma game, I go, I've seen this game too many times. That game has the most it doesn't matter vibe to it of any other game because the talent level is always insane at both schools. And sometimes that talent just rises to the top in that game, and those guys find it. And in this game, I see the same thing for BYU and Utah. I'm concerned, obviously, about what the injuries are going to do. Obviously, we're going to get the first injury report officially from BYU. Everybody's going to be wondering where Jack Kelly's name is on that thing. What's your guess, though? Because I think it was almost a game-time type decision last week against Arizona, right?
It was a coin flip in Tucson, and if I had to guess, it would be he goes and plays. Because with him being so close to playing in Tucson just days after suffering the injury against West Virginia, I would guess he's going to give it a go. Home state. I mean, this rivalry. He didn't grow up a college football kid, but he's been in this state long enough, and he knows the significance, just like many do. And I think that's what's so awesome about this rivalry is that these teams. When you look at the statistical profile of these teams, they are basically the same. Alex, it is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Utah kind of started different on this season where they kind of came out like a gangbuster where they get a huge win over UCLA, in which is looking pretty good now. I mean,
now UCLA's turning around.
Deshaun Foster might be the worst coach in the history of college football with how bad they were. Now UCLA is looking very good, and that's a nice win for Utah. But you look at just the stats; they want to lean on the run. They want to be physical at the line of scrimmage. I just think the battles. I asked Keanu Tanavasa about the chess match that it's going to be between him and Utah's O-line. They know everything about Keanu. Keanu knows everything about them. That's going to be epic, just must-see if you love trench play. And then the quarterbacks, too, are interesting, where it's Devin Dampier, it's Bear Bachmeier. I would say it's one of the best quarterback battles that we've seen in this rivalry. Last year was Jake Retzloff and Brandon Rose, and I don't think that was great quarterback play. I think these two are much better than last year.
And then by the end, was Brandon Rose in the entire game, too? I want to feel like...
Gosh, did he get... I
thought he got injured at one point. Did the long-haired kid from California come in? I actually can't remember now.
I think Rose played the whole way.
The reality is that Rose was... I mean, that's not the guy you sign up to play the rivalry game
But it just
with.
feels like both teams have like their full collection of personnel for the most part.
Well, and from an X's and O's standpoint, like from the on paper stuff, that's one thing. The X's and O's standpoint, if Jack Kelly can go, that changes the dynamic of this game like huge for BYU, because what's his job? His job is that, and he's maybe the best at it in the country. Like, you hunt down that running quarterback. You better spy that guy, right? And when he's on that duty, guess what it does? It allows Isaiah Glasgow to be one of the best cover linebackers in the entire country, right? And last week, what had to happen? Jack Kelly's out. Ciali Acera is not 100%-ish. I mean, he comes out at one point in the game, but also Ciali Acera is not the athlete, and he's one of the leading tackles on the team, so I don't want to try to diss him.
Doesn't have that closing speed, though, like Jack.
No, like Isaiah.
Yes.
And so Isaiah Glasgow is the next best version of a spy in that case. Isaiah Glasgow is, like I said, as good of a cover guy. This is why he's going to be phenomenal in the NFL. But when those two guys are on the field together, it makes a huge difference. So the decision on Jack Kelly is going to be absolutely, and you think Utah's not going to be planning for all of this? Jason Beck is going to be figuring out how to play that chess match with Jay Hill's defense. What a phenomenal matchup, by the way.
Goodness.
And
I know. Electric.
And by the way,
cinema.
I know.
Pure cinema.
Think about Micah Simon, Mark Atuaya, Jason Beck, all coming into LaVell Edwards Stadium wearing crimson, going up that elevator.
That's kind of promo.
Do you see what I'm saying though? Like, it's a weird moment. It's a weird moment for those guys.
Yes.
They can pretend all they want. They're going to be going up the elevator wearing U of U stuff for the first time. These guys, a lot of these guys, think about it, even Kalani. He was used to wearing the crimson at some point. He was actually probably more like, hey man, these guys are paying me, man. Right? And Jay Hill, he had to get weird and wear the blue on the other side.
Gary Anderson, Chad Kaha, all these guys.
Think of it, yes.
Justin Etta.
Yes, and so
Aaron Roderick, all of them.
Coach Pua. I mean, all of these guys, the amount of back and forth, and first of all, one of my favorite moments ever in the rivalry, if you allow me to tell the story, if we have time. I just want to say real quick. I was watching, I think it was Kalani's, it was the 2019 game. Freshman year for
season opener and that first game of the year.
Freshman year for sophomore year for Zach Wilson. They come in and they are up 20-0, like that.
Oh, that was freshman year. That was 2018.
That was at Rice Eccles.
Utah had already clinched the Pac-12 South.
They have their quarterback out, right? And so they're going with Jason Shelley, I think,
and Armand Shine at running back.
And BYU is immediately boom, just going all over them, just boom, boom, boom. They score on them, and at the half, it's 20-0, like that. And, of course, as this rivalry game goes, That stadium blows up. I'm on the field, and I'd never heard a stadium that explosive than I did right then against BYU when they came back and won that game against BYU after being down 20-0 at the half. After the game, we're waiting to shoot some TV stuff, right? And there's a moment where the coaches are done all their post games and everything, and both coaching staffs come out of their respective locker rooms. It was the coolest thing ever. These guys are all freaking brothers, man. And by the way, did this ever happen on Broncos staff? Those guys came in and they were hugging and pushing each other and laughing and like punching each other. And I thought, the rivalry is back. When Kalan, and guess what? Heart is as heartbreaking as it gets. The rivalry needs to be like that. When those guys are laughing and pointing at each other and clowning on each other and then going, dude, I can't freaking wait to get you again next year. Hey, love you. Call me for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like that was the essence of the rivalry for me. And I hope that's the kind of vibe this week that it ends up with. I hope it's close like that. I hope the stadium explodes, well, in a good way, and not with all the fireworks that they do and the drone shows, but that it goes that way, and that at the end of the whole thing, it ends up just being like, man, that one's one for the ages. We keep getting games for the ages with this game.
I love it. It's BYU and Utah. It's going to be an amazing game, and that's going to be the highlight game, of course, in the Big 12 this week. And let's look at the rest of the Big 12 schedule next here on First and 12 on KSL News Radio.